Hey everybody, I'm with Clay Mills in the SongTown studio. Welcome.
I'm just touched that you would have me here today. I want to thank the Academy.
You're here every time. It's not
like
that
the
special.
plague.
Yep. So today what we want to talk about is freeing the angel.
Oh.
Michelangelo, when he was sculpting, he had this concept that he would tell people, he's got a beautiful sculpture of an angel, and they would say, how do you envision something like that? And he said, well, I just chip away everything that's not the angel.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great metaphor for songwriting, because if we can focus in that clearly on what we're trying to say, and when I teach blueprinting or in my book, Song Building, that's the principle is we want to focus in so clearly on what we're trying to say, and we're trying to say it concisely, that we're chipping away everything that's not that. And if I'm clear on what I'm trying to say, then when a line gets thrown out that doesn't contribute to that, it's easy to go, let's save that line for another song. It reminds me of a quote from Smokey Robinson where they asked him what was the best songwriting advice he'd been given. And he said, well, Barry Gordy told me that a song's about one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you and I mentor, we have a lot of times we're telling people, it's too much. You're trying to say too much in this song. So what are your thoughts on that?
I like it. I'm just sitting here trying to think this concept, how I could apply it to music. And I think musically sometimes they take a great melody. Say your first line of your melody has 6 syllables. And the next line feels like it should have 6 syllables too, but they can't find the right words, so they throw in 8 syllables. And then all of a sudden you've lost that hooky pattern that you had set up. And I think it's kind of like musically, you have to chip away those extra words until your melody is chiseled down to where the melody works on its own. Then you find the right words to fit in there. So, yeah, I think I constantly do that when I'm writing. I'm trying this. No, that doesn't work. I'm trying this. No, that doesn't work. And eventually you eliminate all the possibilities and you land on the one that's supposed to be there.
Yeah. I work with a Swedish producer that when he sends me a song, he'll send me a track fully produced out with a melody and then some dummy words, and he tells me what vowel sound he wants at the end of every line.
Yeah.
And it's really challenging to write, but when it's finished, everything is right about those songs, because he has paid attention to all the details. He knows on this note, an O sound is going to sound better, or something open as opposed to a closed sound. So I want an open vowel sound right here. I want this to be closed. And what he's doing is getting rid of everything that's not what he wants for his vision of this song, And I don't necessarily recommend that because that's really challenging to write. It puts me in a box of, I can't say what I want to say. I've got to say something that ends in an O, so I have to figure out a way to say that line that ends in an O.
Yeah.
But I think practically, if we take our song, I'll use my song, Let Me Down Easy as an example.
Mm-hmm.
That song is, the singer is trying to say to the other person, hey, I've been hurt and I'm feeling some things for you, but if I fall in love with you, please be careful with my heart. So we try to make everything in that song point to that one idea.
Yeah.
Every line in that song fits that character that we were trying to write about. So, he's setting up how he's been hurt. He's telling her, hey, if I fall, can you let me down easy? And then he talks about how tempted he is to fall for her, but how he's just got this fear, so he wants her to be careful with his heart, So when you're writing, if you find yourself maybe writing 3 or 4 songs in one, you're trying to say this and this and this and this, instead of just picking the most poignant of those things and really focusing on that, your song's going to be stronger if it's just about that one thing. And maybe you've got 5 songs and with all those ideas, but you could make each of them about one simple thing instead of trying to complicate it too much.
Yeah. I keep going back to what you were saying about making you use certain vowel sounds. And I've been working on a course for Songtown for our members about how to make your lyrics more musical And that's a big part of it, vowel sounds. Like I've often done this kind of informal study of songs, and like if you're trying to invoke warm feelings to someone and you're holding out a long note, well, you need to have oohs or you need to have ahs. You don't need bright sounds like e's.
Mm-hmm.
And e's are great if it's a happy up-tempo song, but if you're trying to do a warm, reassuring song, it's going to require a different vowel sound, So that's, that's huge. So you got me thinking about stuff to add to this course now on vowel sounds that's a whole thing that I love to play with.
And that's, what this guy does, his process is he creates the track and then he starts singing melodies over it. And when he gets something that feels right, he notes, okay, it needs to have this, a bright sound here or a softer sound here. And he just massages that melody to where everything feels right. And he's been super successful with his music because there's so much detail that goes into making it just right, and he takes out anything that doesn't sound authentic to that song. And when I write for him, if I send him some lyrics that don't fit, he's very quick to remind me, no, here's what we're saying, here's how it's got to be melodically and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you said he had a clear vision, and that's important. It doesn't mean that it's the right vision for everything. That's his vision, and it's the right vision for that song. But there are a lot of different ways to accomplish, the same goals. And so you might have a completely different vision that would make it a successful song too. But I think the important thing is he has a vision, and he has what he hears is important to him, and it comes across, and it's built from experience. It's built from emotion. So, the sound of words to me are just as important in that sculpting process as what you're trying to say. Because you could come up with words that you're trying to say, and they sing very clunky. You're tripping over the syllables. So there's a lot that goes into it.
And I think one maybe advantage that he has is he speaks English very well, but that's not his first language.
Yeah.
And so when he just does these dummy lyric things, he lands on those vowel sounds and until he knows it's right. And then that's what he communicates to me, and I have to do the hard work. So a lot of times I cuss at him when he's not there, and I'm trying to work on these things. But he really is great at having a vision for what the angel is and chipping away everything that's not part of the angel.
Awesome.
We want to thank our sponsor, Sweetwater. And they have gear, they have instruments, they have everything you could possibly want. And they have great customer service. And we thank them for sponsoring our show. Check out the show notes for links to SongTown, our books, and all that kind of stuff. And please give us a review and like us and comment.
Please like us.
They like us. They really like us. Yep.
If you like the content we give you guys every week on YouTube and on our podcast, just give us a little love.
Yeah, we'd appreciate it. See you soon.